Little black book, you know what time it is. 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 Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You know what time it is. Talking to you guys about Michaela. Yes, she has transformed right before our eyes into the dragon that we said she would become. Because the Bible lets us know in the beginning was a serpent, okay? But in the end, the revelation, the dragon came. Because whenever you allow anything to have room to grow, it will do exactly that. Grow. And that's what we've seen with Michaela in the way she has abused Zach in the course of this show. We're going to talk a little bit about it. Again, once more, I don't have the clips today because unfortunately we don't have the episode, but we will still break down this episode in a unique way for you guys. So like, share, subscribe, click on the bell button for notification of the uploads. And for those of you who are returnees, you already know what it is, baby. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. You got the minerals. Stay hydrated because the streets out there are hot. All right. Let's get into the video. So, dealing with Michaela, listen, we have been watching Michaela for the past few years now, past few months now. And what we've seen with Michaela is an inherent desire to, want to love Zach and want to care for Zach and want to appreciate Zach. But when she gets scared, she goes into attack mode. Okay, a lot of her behavior I've seen and experienced personally, and so I know looking at her behavior, I'm like, oh, I can identify where I've seen that before, right? And what I saw with Michaela, I could see the progression of it coming and getting bigger and larger. Okay, with Michaela, she really showed her dark side today. Okay, the other instances have been maybe her blowing up at the moment and having to apologize after, blah blah blah. But when we really take it back through the course of the whole season, we're gonna see how really problematic her behavior is. Remember the whole episode where they spoke about the bees and the bees stinging? Now, what did Michaela say? You need to work out, why the bees are stinging you, because evidently the bees ain't just stinging you for no reason. No, you're right. They're not stinging you for no reason, but you yourself have control and accountable for your behavior. Okay, it doesn't matter what kind of man you have, a good man, a bad man, toxic man, non-toxic man, a loving man, romantic man. You will do the same thing because it is innate in you. When I say innate, it doesn't mean you're born with it. It means it's innate. It is within you. It's a wound. And until you heal the wound, let me tell you this now. In most cases, I'm going to say most because there are some exceptions to this rule. In most cases, whenever you put the orphan inside of the safe place, it becomes very difficult for that orphan without there being a relearning of behaviors, without there being an addressal of emotional wounds. It can become very difficult. And when I say orphan, I'm talking about the fact that the person isn't necessarily an orphan, but I'm talking about the fact that somebody who's wounded. I don't know why I use the word orphan. I think I'm thinking of a different example. But whenever somebody's wounded and putting them in a safe place, it doesn't automatically heal them. Because there needs to be work done specifically on that wound. If the wound is bleeding, it doesn't matter if you put them in a hospital, whether you put them in a hospital van, whether you dress up their arm. If you don't address the actual core issue, which is an emotional wound, you're going to find that person will be triggered. All that's happening is when you're not healed, all that's happening is it is suppressed until the right time, right season, right moment, right person to trigger you. And what we've seen with Michaela is a consistent behavior, a pattern of behavior of abusive moves. Okay. And on this episode, what we saw from her too was a calculatedness this time. See, the other times, maybe when she blew up, it was more about the fact that she was emotional and she blew up. On this occasion, the way she told lies, she was very, very, very calculated, very cold. Okay, the mere fact that she can say she was using such explicit language. Let me bring one. The very first thing we noticed was she said, "Oh, she told Zach that to Doctor." This was when they were talking to Dr. Pepper, by the way. She told Zach that, "Oh, I told him that I didn't want him to leave me, because leaving me is my biggest trigger." Right? Saying it all in his soft voice. Right? I told him I don't want him to leave me, and he did exactly the very same thing. I feared. So now you fear. and don't get twisted, I believe she does probably fear, but the way you're portraying it, you are now trying to flip a narrative and script to say that you are the actual victim in this scenario. But you don't tell the whole story. We know that because we saw that from last episode with Bao talking to Gil and realizing that Bao didn't know all the truths. We know that you don't tell the full truth when you're discussing issues of your shortcoming. I've seen this behavior live and direct, so I know exactly I know this behavior, right? And so you've started off by trying to twist the narrative to make Zach the bad person and the victim. And then next she goes on to try almost act as if she's a battered woman of abuse. She goes on, it was like he left in an explosive way. Did he leave in an explosive way, or did you make it explosive? Did he explode? Did he leave it in an explosive way, or did you make it difficult for him to leave? Did you make it an explosive moment? Because I think it's more you. I think the fact that you took away his suitcase, the fact you pushed him on the bed, told him to shut the F up. Those are, I think, enough for me to say that you moving a bit weighty, mate. You're moving a bit mad, right? You know, she was said also that she said Zach always tries to paint me as, you know, this crazy person, this inconsistent person. But Michaela, the evidence is there. We don't have to. You don't have. He doesn't have to make that up. Your evidence for how you behave is on camera. So your inconsistency is there. Your madness is there. Now, am I saying Zach is innocent again? No. But Michaela isn't going to try and lie her way out of this one. Okay? Not going to lie her way out of this one. Right? She goes, oh, and she says very calmly, this is when a criminal is in the interrogation room and he knows you ain't got a leg up on him. He knows that you ain't got nothing on him. He knows that you can't say nothing to him. He knows that you haven't got no evidence to hold him. So he's going to be cocky, right? That's exactly what Michaela did in this moment. She said, you know, he has no evidence of me reacting to him. Really, sis? Really? Because we have evidence. We've seen it. And it's not looking good. But she tried to lie her way out of that one. Yeah? And then Zach ended up leaving, and she was like, oh, that's a prime example of how he leaves. No, but sis, he's been triggered by you. Your behavior of potentially gaslighting, your behavior of abuse, physically and emotionally, is causing him to not be sure whether he wants to be here or not. Listen, because he cares for you, I think, of some shape or form, right? It is, and it's frustrating because you don't want to quit early, because you want to make sure you've done all you can do to make it work. Remember, he is an idealist, and we'll do another video for about that. He's an idealist, and he wants to be ideal in his approach to this situation. That's why it becomes difficult for him when things don't work out the way it's meant to work out. When things don't become perfect, he struggles. You know. And then, you know, she says she puts it all down to having a panic attack. Darling, that was not a panic attack. Darling, that was not a panic attack. That was not a panic attack. You know, and then you try to sell this theater production acting by saying, you know, him getting on the road was death for me. It equaled death for me because of my father. I was like, darling, when are you not going to use your father as an excuse for your behavior? Because every time we talk about your behavior, it seems like you've got an excuse as to why you behave that way. It's an abandonment issue. Right? And if you notice, guys, if you watch it back, if you can watch it, those of you in America and you can watch it, go back, right? In that conversation when Box Pepper's addressing her, right? She does a T-Rex tilt again. She goes, The T-Rex tilt comes out. Bruv, when a T-Rex tilt comes out, know that she's about to move, man. When the T-Rex tilt comes out, know she's about to move, man. Okay? All right? Now, my biggest thing is this. Michaela has transformed right before our eyes, but we knew she was going to do it because she's called a hurricane. And the hurricane comes in hard, fast, and sweeps people up. So our resident brother, Zach, in this situation is kind of stuck at the moment. at the moment, right? So yeah, I just wanted to share that video of, you know, like the transformation comes when we give people room to move that mad. When we give them more room, they will keep on expanding. That's what they do. So guys, make sure you like, share, subscribe, click on that bell button for notification of uploads. We appreciate you guys. Stay locked and say hello. Let us know your comments.